about that. Everything we talk about, ill intent, violence, physicality, execution, the will to win. Just win, David.
You are now about to witness the strength of strength.
What's good, everybody, and welcome to a special Monday in Live of Straight Outta Nation with Capitán Rafucho. And what I just call it Super Monday because, man, this Monday not only is the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but also we can talk about college football, NFL, also UFC and boxing with a special guest. But right now, I just wanted to tell you, make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on every social media, which is on Twitter, as known as X, Instagram, Rumble, and of course, a little bit of TikTok. But, after the ban, we can move on. We can have some fun. But yes, and of course, how is your day, evening, ladies and gentlemen? Because that game between Ohio State versus Notre Dame, it became so much interesting. That's the closest thing. And first and foremost, I just want to talk about Ohio State versus Notre Dame because, ladies and gentlemen, what a masterpiece. What a game. The closest game of the championship of college football. What's crazy to me because that was like the closest thing since 2017, 2018. Ohio State, they show up at the fight and they have a lot of dogs, including the quarterback, Will Howard, Jaden Greathouse as a wide receiver. Jaden White, what can I tell you about this one? Jaden Greathouse, could be like a perfect fit for the Raiders. And there's no excuses at all. Ohio State was the best team in the country. However, if those teams can fully healthy, they can't even ever to do at the edge. They have their coaching and culture. At first, that's just like a slow start of the defense combined with mistakes and questionable coaching decisions. We always lose to the game every single time. It doesn't matter. They had to play for the best game of the season. But whatever happens to all, they just have like a lot of receive to everything. There's no way. Ohio State, they have a lot of talent. And Notre Dame has the heart, the culture, the defense, but also they just came very close. They gotta stay patient, run the ball, trust the process. That's one of those keys about like the coaching style of Notre Dame. But it seems that, I don't know, it seems that it's gonna be really over. But what I'm just thinking about it, after that I was watching the whole game of college football, because if you remember, if you're going through a lot, it was just like everything everything, because the championship of college football is a must-see watch. Because not only the wide receivers, the running back, but also the coaching team, which is trying to get involved. I mean, I think there's gonna be like cough in the film that, well, Gray was trying to call up because it is a cross with these Smith reverse. I mean, that was just like a great play call and scouted by Day. If he can tell the tale too, I mean, it's beautiful to see like the two teams fighting each other. Whoever gets to eat in McDonald's with the president, I mean, not gonna tell about it. I mean, they're not gonna lose everything. They're not. I mean, Jaden Greyhouse, Will Howard, I mean, they became so much superior. I mean, they have like a great caliber talent of Ohio State. Because I know for the first time since 10 years, I mean, the last time the Ohio State won a national championship, that was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Because what's the specialty about like the game of Ohio State and Notre Dame? Notre Dame, they really have to execute their kicking game. And at the heart with these units are the long snappers. I mean, the precision and constantly they're paramount to avoid disastrous special teams miscues. I mean, they're going to disseminate the backgrounds, the strengths, and weaknesses of every team. Long snapper reveals how might they go influence at high stakes for the championship clash. But I know that the experience and the constantly are undeniable. Because for Ohio State, he possessed like the size and strength to excel the punt coverage, potentially disrupting returners and making tackles. But they gotta maintain for at least a millimeters longer than typical long snapper. When it simply gets the tail, could every impact, but it is controlling the ball, especially the trajectory and velocity. But it seems that Notre Dame, the only thing that I go for the weakness is to use different long snappers for Toon's teams for potential vulnerability. I mean, the statue could be like a disadvantage in coverage where he could struggle against long returners. I mean, they just brought like more transfers and they just really get tired of the narrative. I mean, they had the Boston vessel more than that. I mean, there was no timeouts or injuries, so there was no time to get fit on it. I mean, Riley Leonard, I mean, he became something like the version 2.0 of Josh Allen. I mean, that could happen. I mean, no matter what happens, I mean, it just like feel like this is a good masterpiece that we gotta break it down. I mean, somebody did go for it. I mean, it could happen. I mean, to not make like a single adjustment when the same play is run against you 9 times in a single drive, I mean, it's absolutely wild. But the running quarterback is running against Ohio State for the first 1 yard line to the first and goal. I mean, that could be obviously the play call for that. Never had the liberty to try on it. I mean, that could have happened a lot. Hey, how's it going, Daniel Berry? Salute to you. Daniel Berry's in the building. Salute to you. Also, Just Raiders Baby. Salute to you, my brother. Salute to you. But also, speaking about like the Super Monday that we had to figure it out. I mean, between for like the talent and the audacity of those players or those college players from Ohio State and Notre Dame. Also, shout out to Leo Chindolinus. I mean, I know he's struggled a lot against loss because I know that my brother Leo is a Notre Dame fan. Also, shout out to Terrence. And one of my friends, which is Matthew Berry, is a fan of Ohio State. But congrats to Ohio State, even though that I don't like Ohio State because, well, doing for the rivalry and all those things. But what it encouraged me a lot because Ohio State, they have a different culture of the quarterback and the wide receiver scheme. I mean, they're really both connected. Really both connected. I mean, they get to see like a lot of things to get involved, the connection of getting wide open or the production or everything. I mean, that could happen a lot because it doesn't have like a culture problem. Because it seems that some people that just call like a problem is culture, lack of identity. But back in 2019, because they have like the number 2 offense on the country, because they just won every game of the regular season by digital digits. Well, double digits. But it seems that after all through these issues, after beating all those teams, they really had to the best college footballs. It was really shocking that they got on with the playoffs. Nobody can adjust to the flight to the highest state. If we're doing like so it wasn't working in terms of strategy, scheme, individual matchups, they could really figure it out. You're gonna win to the gonna be for them for the quarter or half. There's like a officially rooting about for that game. It was like a mystery, but that call was really overturned. You might see a look at the screw, but still no one has to beat enough. They're really equal because there is nowhere to have to figure it out. Is it gonna worth it? Because they have no about the strong receivers, to be honest. The offense and the defense, completely great. Ryan Day is gonna have it at this moment right now. But between about that, that connection, it just happened like at a deep sigh of relief and would it just really bucketed up. That just really happened. And just like the son of Tupac Shakur, me against the world, it'll just say Ohio against the world. The mentality, it's really undeniable. They just won the first 14 bracket and they just beat the number one team in Oregon. That's really shocking. Really shocking at all. Really indeed. That they just get it like really back because I'm very proud of those teams like Notre Dame and Ohio State making a great difference because those young prospects, they're going to make it big. They're going to make it big for everything. This became like, what a great game that we just had on this one. Will Howard, Jaden Greenhouse, this is going to be like some generational talent, to be honest. To be honest right now, I'm telling you, both players like Will Howard and Jaden Greathouse, they're going to be like such a tremendously everything. All right. So after that, I was talking about Ohio State versus Notre Dame, the review between for the players and of course like the intensity of the game. So right now we just wanted to move on to like another topic because we're gonna talk about like UFC and boxing. So that's why did I just call it the Super Monday Live? Because not only we're just talking about college football, but also we can talk about NFL, Raiders, and a little bit of UFC and boxing. So right now I just wanted to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have a guest on backstage. I know this is gonna be really interesting because we can talk about like UFC and boxing during for that weekend. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you what are those hottest content creators on the planet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the Right Hook. So, how's it going?
Hey, Rafael, I really appreciate what you're doing here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, salute to the Raider Critique is in the building, the MMA Foo, so brother, how's it going? So, right now, let's just talk about like the UFC 311. And boy, I just wanted to tell you, that was really shocking. The first question that I was getting to, I might say, who's going to stop Islam Makhachev? Because for that moment that I was like, holy snap, who's going to stop Islam Makhachev? And even then, what they say is the best number one by pound. They just beat out like John Jones, Elias Pereira, and then he just wanted to cut it out because before that, he was just like doing for this match against Armutachukan, which is like the second part. But then Renato Moicano became part of the show in order. So because if you remember the last time, that was like the 2020.
It was a bit ago.
Yeah. That was like a 2023 and Abu Dhabi, and that just got
the answer is nobody can defeat Islam in the lightweight division at this moment. I just don't really see anyone. There's no top contender that could really defeat him at this point. I mean, he could either keep fighting bantamweights fighting up or featherweights fighting up, or he could just go up to welterweight at this point.
Yeah, I understand about it. But after what you see for like getting involved, I mean, not only Islam Makhachev became really undeniable, but also, I mean, why did Islam refuse to go for like putting off the gloves? I mean, he's the best suit for like the lightweight, but he's undersized for welterweight. I mean, that feels like a more challenge. But going from the size advantage to size disadvantage, I mean, to the whole new opponents. I mean, and for another fight that I was looking for, I mean, I cannot believe that after Murad Dvalishvili just won against Umar Nagaradev.
I predicted that.
Exactly.
I predicted that. That man is a machine. He has cardio. I mean, people were tweeting and posting about it. They say whoever has the most cardio in the world, Murad has 10 times that cardio. And really, skill goes out the window when it comes to that. That guy is a beast. I don't know who could beat him in his division. But people are actually rumoring and they're saying that maybe he'll fight Pantoja. And I think that would be a great, great fight.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But also, I just wanted to talk about because, well, I love the fact that Murad Dvalishvili, I mean, not only he's a perfect cardio, but also he was really mentioned about like the striking. And of course, he became like some elite wrestling. But I love that to see like he was trolling both O'Malley and Umar in their fight because I think that Umar being like a tosser, like a toy in the body, is even worse that kissing O'Malley is bad because that was just like that shit was our killer. It's just like he just carried every seguro. I mean, that was just like holy snap from the start from the finish. I mean, actually taking it a fight. I mean, doing for like personality, and then that was just like holy snap. I mean, Murad was like undeniable.
Murad emoted on a gold Olympic champion wrestler and a Nurmagomedov.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that man is the real deal. He is the real deal.
And as a matter of fact, I mean, I don't deny the fact that, well, Umar is a strong contender because we know about like the connection with Khabib not going to do him. But there's two things that can be true. I mean, Umar beat Corey Sandhagen in a number one contender fight. And Umar didn't have like a very impressive wins, and apart from that, to contrast to Murad, who had beat legends like Jose Aldo and Henry Cejudo, also dominated for over young before they get his fight. So I kind of see what is coming from because he has the right to be mad about like the comments that are about like Murad versus Umar. I mean, it seems that it became like the best fight to make it. That was really happening. I mean, in a world that we just live in there are more contenders, people who care, but that's not what we're going to live in. I mean, literally the only alternatives is going to be Pretzion or Sugar Miley because both of them Murad dominated. And whatever you take it about this, I mean, Murad is the real deal. I mean, they didn't have like to win this title eliminator either because living literally no one and other than Umar. I mean, and I want to remember because someone that has a fight for everybody because he was having a tough time finding an opponent that's like, oh man, fuck that. But I mean, he was a long way to step it up for the plate.
Certainly, man. And then another thing I wanted to talk about, which is kind of off topic, is it just got announced that Ryan Garcia is going to be fighting Rolly Romero. I don't know if you saw that right now. And then they're going to have Devin Haney as the undercard.
Yep. And we're just talking about this one because I know that, well, if Ryan Garcia could win this fight, he could have a like rematch against Devin Haney in October. I mean, the people did just actually like Ryan Garcia. I mean, I know that the boxing is a lot of business, and don't get me wrong. I mean, because we're not here to defend something, but also we just dominated display by Ryan Garcia because I think that just because he's good at selling the fight because his antics is gonna be like a message of social media before the ratings, and I love that to see because at the ring he's very entertaining, a high level to now light, but outside, I mean, it's very entertaining, like the guilty pleasure kind of the way. But normally he's 25. I mean, there's too many options on the table. I mean, his head. I mean, it's not gonna be like really happy to 100%. I mean, he's still like a whoop in a legend for a vendor. It'll look very easy, But I really understand because I know that when we return for the ring, I mean, he should really fight it for a belt before he's certainly about that because I understand that back in October, I mean, he was removed for like the game with the bacon and yelling about that. But at this point, I mean, who's everyone is getting crazy to everything because it doesn't really excuse it up with behavior. But it
I will
seems
say
that
this too. It was trace amounts of ostarine. It was such a small amount that it wouldn't be performance enhancing at all when he did fight Devin Haney. So that would put him at the top of the division. I would like to see a rematch, definitely with Gervonta Davis at this point. And I think they should just restore his honor in the boxing community personally, because it was such a small amount. And at that point, it could have been a tainted supplement for all we know. And maybe he was right. But back to what you were saying about just like the outside personality, like people don't realize how much of an impact that makes on the viewers' perception of the fighters. Like we all love to see like some shit talk happening, and we all love to see like some crazy antics, and I'm sure the judges love it too. I'm sure the judges definitely love seeing Merab flip Umar over and point at him and laugh. I mean, that's how fights get judged. I mean, the half of the battle is the personality, and it's the antics that happened before.
I mean, that's really true about it. I mean, and I
It
just
is,
wanted
and that's
to
what
like
creates
say,
the fan base as well. Like if you go on Twitter and you see the fan base, everyone loves Merab now. They hated Merab 4 days ago. Now he's the god, you know?
yeah, that I mean exactly. And of course, speaking about like the boxing and mixed martial arts, because I know this is gonna be like really important because this is a super mundane life. Because I know for the next month, which is on February, they have Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. Now, this is going to be like the second part of that
Yes.
fight because remember when Dricus du Plessis, I mean, they just shocked the entire world taking the title against Sean Strickland. But I'm going to tell you for this one, I mean, is this a real deal to see how about the fight? I mean, every time it goes really crazy because it's just like they're having some matches right now, but they actually just wanted to put on the cardio, but also those grappling and striking. I mean, it's became like a typical because for the main event, I mean, they just wanted to see all around for this one. I mean, Dricus du Plessis, I mean, he just got like a more pressure against for the rival, and this is gonna be really happens at all. I mean, he has a very high guard because how this is going to work so well because whenever he take an attack and he uses a super high guard because he would try to look at a few steps at the end of the opponent's turn. But why does it really work for him? I mean, they should have absorbed less shots we still had an impact in the heart. But between for like the second part of Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland, because we all know that Sean Strickland, his cardio was really good, but a lot of people they just roasted at him on the social media because I know there's gonna be like a really get us to end in the ball. And remember what happens for the last year. I mean, because for the people it just consider like an illegal blow because the supposed had what happened around number 4. If Sean decided to not continue at that point, I mean, they would come like a technicalization, just like a no contest. But also we just write it up or the cards and at this point, but he would have changed it too. But they usually kind of all this seems like they try to endorse with their car every weekend that just seriously consider the building of like enough to create energy on the building.
Yeah, and I personally thought that Strickland won the first fight. I personally thought he won the first fight. I mean, that guy. So the one thing I really respect about Strickland is his defense. His defense is completely amazing. He barely gets hit, aside from Pereira knocking him out. But they actually did a test where all of the UFC fighters in training had to wear a certain type of mouth guard throughout all their trainings and all their camps. And for some reason, Strickland fought the most, sparred the most out of every fighter in the UFC, but got hit the least. So I would say that man has great defense. I think he has a really, really good chance of beating Dricus, but I think Dricus he's good. He's unconventional. He's awkward. He's weird, but he wins and he's strong. He's strong.
Yeah, I just heard about that. And between for all like this one, because I know that we can talk about like a little bit more, but I really appreciated about that idea. So I know that the last topic of boxing in UFC, it seems that, well, between for the last year, Alex Pereira and John Jones could be like seem like the real deal, but I know it's gonna be like a real competition between for Islam Makhachev, Alex Pereira, and of course there's John Jones, because after we've been seeing like the master class of John Jones versus Steve Miocic and Alex Pereira became something like very relative about like the year 2024. I mean, the 2025 it became something really important to see how it's gonna be like the rookies and the veterans at UFC.
Yep.
But I really understand that it could be like a year of redemption for, I don't know, once again for Alex Pereira, or it's gonna be like another great year for Ila Tuporia, because you gotta be careful because he's gonna be like so much interested about like his cardio, his rep and his strength. I mean, he won't left anyone to this competition.
Yeah, and we got to look at each of the top 3 pound for pound, and we have to think about everyone in their division and their level of competition. That's why I would put Islam at number 1. And I'm not a big Islam fan either, but I mean, who in the lightweight division is beating Islam Makhachev? And then we have the Ankalaev fight with Pereira, and I think, I don't know, Ankalaev could win. I don't think it's very likely because a lot of people have a conception that, or a misconception that Ankalaev can grapple, but Ankalaev hasn't really grappled in any of his UFC fights. But Topuria he's a monster, and it would actually make a lot of sense for Islam to fight Topuria. I mean, Islam can fight down a weight class one more time, and after that, just let him go up a weight class and get that double champ status.
That's
Because
very
he beat Volk twice, right? So, I mean, let Topuria come up, see what happens after that. Just like give him Bilal Muhammad, and what happens there? Islam versus Bilal. What happens?
That gotta be like a really that happens. So I just wanted to tell you the right hook. So thanks for having it like at this time, because I know there's like a few topics to talk about in this Super Monday Live, but thank you very much, the right hook, and I really appreciated that. So where can we find you? And of course, where we can see all those videos, those live streams on the social media talking about UFC boxing with a different perspective.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you taking me on here. This is pretty awesome. I really enjoyed this. Good practice for me. Yeah, my Twitter handle is Combat Converse, all one word. The right hook is subtitle. Basically, I post mainly about combat sports. I've been a little bit political recently, and I'm going to get away from that a little bit more and get, more into the sport, but I'd really appreciate a follow.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, I just wanted to continue to talk about football, but thanks to Right Hook for giving us every thought about the UFC and boxing. So I salute to you. And of course, I just wanted to tell you to have a great day. And of course, I will let you know for another episode. Okay.
All right. You too, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate it. So that was the Right Hook, which is talking about like the UFC, the boxing, because this is a Super Monday Live that we can talk about like everything between for like UFC, boxing, college football, because after we can talk about like college football, UFC, and boxing. Now, let's get into like the next topic, shall we? Because we can talk about like the greatest football. Because first and foremost, I just wanted to tell you what in the actual fuck did we just get into it? Because the coaching search, I mean, they still got it on the line. They got it on the line. First and foremost, Ben Johnson. So the people has got really interesting about him. And Ben Johnson is getting like a new job for the Chicago Bears. So is this gonna be like a really interesting, or is it gonna be like a nightmare? But the only thing is they still got the coaching job on the line, because once they remove Ben Johnson to the coaching list search, now there are some coaches that we need to take care about it. And who else is gonna be next? Pete Carroll? I mean, who else is gonna be like that? But I don't want it to see like I don't know, Mike McCarthy as a coach. I mean, it's not gonna be really important. Nope. I mean, the hype just going doing again. I mean, for nothing. I mean, all those hype. I mean, they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Like, spend or the desk for everything. But it seems that after all the hype, I mean, it seems that we're getting ball a lot of this time for clickbait. Because I don't know why those persons are being like a really delusional. And I just think that because the Raiders, they have their mistake, every top candidate is dying to come like the Raiders, because instead they use for leverage. The Bears had so much potential, especially for a offensive-minded coach. I mean, for that reason, I mean, they just now made sense for Ben Johnson. I mean, I didn't have like him talking about it because I understand they just wanted to me like more offensive coach and everything. But you know what? I mean, we got to tell about this. Ben Johnson couldn't have the perfect fit for the Raiders because the Chicago Bears, they made one reason to get on point. First and foremost, the quarterback and the wide receiver situation, because they just had Caleb Williams and part of the wide receivers. So that's where they became like the problem. And some of those social media influencers and of course those beat writers and content creators, they feeling the hype of Ben Johnson. They say, come Ben Johnson, come out to the dark side. I mean, come on there, we need you to the Raiders. But at the end of the day, I mean, all those hype became for nothing. I mean, Chicago Bears, I mean, it became something really unexpected. The coaching job is still getting on the line. Salute to Soledad Vargas de la Cruz, 182. Salute to you. Salute to you. Thank you very much. But I know this is really happening for this time. Okay? Because I know that it just really attracted any top talent until we can strike like at least like over like 0.500 seasons together. I mean, if we really think about like to run it back, I don't know, it could be like John Gruden. I mean, some people that just wanted to talk about, oh, we need Chucky to get back. But I know that they really truly did believe that Johnson was leaning their way and get excited to lead into rebuild. And some other words, I mean, some people are just were to make it up. I mean, you could even accuse the team for being delusional. But at some point, I mean, that's not like the fault. And somehow, some persons got it wrong. Always. Always. Because, you know, there was one thing that I was really agree. Because you know why the Chicago Bears wants Ben Johnson as a head coach? Because he was considering just watching Jaden Daniels be this limited quarterback, probably slate the decision to Caleb over the money. Over the money. Over the money. That I can tell you. I mean, that just really happens a lot. And I can't understand, I mean, why those persons, I mean, they became so much delusional. I mean, after we just hear like some fake news and breaking news, I mean, some people that just wanted to make up nonsense. I mean, total lies, gaslighting. Because I know that I was graduated as a journalist, and I'm not gonna lie because I got my degree on it. Unlike some of those persons who claim like a master degree, I mean, who else? I mean, I understand about like the tough job of being a journalist, not a beat writer, because a journalist he has to do with the radio, the TV, writing. I mean, all at one. I mean, I can do radio, TV host, writing, and of course, doing social media. But some people, they just kept trying to convince everyone that Josh McDaniels was a good coach, but the department probably runs all the insiders, feeding them nonsense to talk that it can distract the fan base. How terrible the team was managed. And after that, we've been seeing like the light and the darkness. Because after we just see like Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears, I mean, it's like the most Raiders thing ever. Don't be able to be bothered. I mean, that happened to the Raiders for the entire years. I mean, they just fired a coach and a general manager that got us like 3 rookie starters in an attempt to get Johnson, and now they just left with the private parts in the hands. I mean, that was just like a classic dick move. And some people, they say, what the hell is going to go to the Raiders? I mean, it's not going to really happen. Not this again. But we all know that in some persons that people did get right and people did get wrong. But there was one coach that we needed in time that if they want to need. Pete Carroll is one of those head coaches that team really needs. I mean, we just saw the impact that Harbaugh and proven winner has under the Chargers this year. We saw the impact of Sean Payton. He has on the Broncos this year. And Andy Reid is one of those top coaches in the sport. But between for the referees and the coaching, we've been seeing a lot on camera, including that one, in front of the children's. I mean, how in the fuck is this? But those 3 have a head coaching experience. Most importantly, track records and establishing winning culture. But there's only one that had the resume, and that's Pete Carroll. Yep, Pete Carroll. I mean, Pete is a winner. He built the culture of the Seahawks. I mean, he built the culture of the University of South California before that. I mean, and what about at his age? I mean, I know he's old, but he's 7'3". 7'3". And I guarantee he's in better shape than most of the head coaches in this league. But also, he will bring solid assistance. He will establish a succession plan for one to take. I mean, most of the people, they just wanted to bring Robert Saleh as opposed to the coaching tree. Perhaps the area, the DC will take over head coach for the couple of years' time. I mean, they show up a lot of promise over the Jets and could over time for the expansion of Woody Johnson and company. But, and say what you all want to do, but he's willing to step aside and bring to the right people to help steer the sheep with Tom Brady. I mean, at least he's very healthy. He could outrun all the rest of the stuff 40-yard dash. I mean, that could have happened. I mean, bringing in the proven guy who's been there and done that. I mean, they can turn us around and hopefully have the succession plan on the place because they need to pull all their chips with Carroll because there are already 3 head coaches in the division that have been seen coaching at the Super Bowl. Why not add a 4th? Why not? That could really happen at all. How's it going, James Fripple? Salute to you. Raiders. How's it going? Also, Richard Lyon to say, Ralph, how about my Buckeyes? Hey, look, Richard Lyon, I got to tell you for this one. Even though that I don't like Ohio State, I mean, Ohio State got a real deal. Not only for the quarterback, but also for the wide receiver. So salute to you, Richard Lyon, and congratulations for the Ohio State Buckeyes as a national championship. Yeah, but speaking about that, I mean, what can I tell you? I won't be upset, but I'm not getting my hopes up because I know the Raiders gonna Raiders all the time, because they're going to suspect someone awful until proven otherwise. Because in some commented to say, we cannot let the Raiders get something nice. I mean, duh. We can have something nice because if you guys want to see us fail, want to see us destroy, want to see us cook, there's nothing can stop. Nothing. Nothing at all. So what it means? This is Black Sunday, motherfuckers. We're the nation, bitch. And Tom, there you go. Which allow you to say Tom Brady always had a plan. Because, well, we will never forget that Tom Brady owns us a Super Bowl after the fumble thing back in 2000, 2001. But after he joined it to the Raiders as a minority, he owes an apology and, of course, getting to the ball like a plan, who seems very impossible. Yeah, seems that very impossible to all. To all. But I know that some people, they just wanted to set the culture. And Peter's a probably winner. If it wasn't Johnson, then Carroll is the bad bet. I mean, UCC and Seattle did wonders with a new change of scenery because I wouldn't compete at all to the best of the resume. But I'm going to tell you for this one. I mean, the Raiders need like a more experiment coach. I mean, they're getting a lot of tired to the first time coaches. I mean, what they do with the experiment of Antonio Pierce, because he's a former linebacker for the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders, has now the Redskins, but it didn't happen much time because they don't want to succeed with the first time coaches. I mean, in some point, the first time coaches could be like a real nightmare because what happened to Dan Campbell around for this time? I mean, first and foremost, he had the worst record for the Detroit Lions seasons ago. And then he's a proven champion. He's a proven champion because they took it to the NFC Championship against San Francisco 49ers 1 year ago. But then they just lost it. And things are getting really worse because they just lost against, well, Washington Commanders. But at the end of the day, I mean, if they want to prove each other's, I mean, there's nothing can really prove. That's why he's bringing Spytek, I'm sure. You mean Spytek? Because remember the name about the Spytek, because he's a former general manager for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know he's getting a real deal because I know that Tom Brady has a lot of friends coming up there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or maybe the New England Patriots. But don't get surprised because there's going to be like a comeback of Josh McDaniels because no. Wouldn't want to see like Josh McDaniels coming back to the coaching. No. And Bill Belichick, I mean, he's getting really comfortable about his new job with the North Carolina Tar Heels. Yep. North Carolina Tar Heels coaching. Yes. Because they were bringing a lot of great things going to happen from the next season. Mm-hmm. It is a what if Joe Brady has always been the play? Well, he definitely has to go for the play, but you know, there's like a few things that we need to really to discuss. But when it happens, I mean, it depends because this is wanted to bring a lot of talent and experience. Because the Raiders don't want to see like first time coaches and first time because that experiment is really gone. I mean, that doesn't have work at all. doesn't work at all. So, it's not gonna really work at all. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to do a lot about this. And of course, between for this one, there's gonna to lean about it. I mean, if we already had Johnson, I mean, Pete Carroll as we're seeing like at a home run, but Johnson was like not at the same cycle. Because my only concern that the edge is not like we need him to be at the coach for the next years. I mean, we just need someone to like to get involved with a lot of experience. I mean, obviously they have a better optics, but between for the decision, I mean, after getting crapped out, I mean, and you want to have like the Russell used to like being the Lions had to take the right job. I mean, Carroll has the chops. Hope he has still the energy. Because I know there's going to be pro combine coaches on the sports history who just got fired because he went 9-8, 2 consecutive years after training star quarterback and rebuilding his, well, Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio. But anyways, after that, I was talking about like the coaching search. So there is like a few coaches that I just wanted to leave them off. I mean, forget about Ben Johnson because Ben Johnson is done. And who else is going to be on the coaching line? I mean, some people that just wanted to let you know with Pete Carroll. Some of the persons that just wanted to bring back John Gruden as known as the Chucky. Because we've been seeing like enough. I mean, bringing back John Gruden is not the brightest idea. I know that John Gruden, he brings a lot of violence on his play calling, but he's the worst scouting in the draft because who else remembered the draft of 2020? It became the worst. Became the worst to everyone. But I don't want to see like Mike McCarthy as the coach for the Raiders. I mean, he doesn't really surprise me because I know that Mike McCarthy is the coach for the Dallas Cowboys, but it just seems that his scheme, his play calling, it became something like not combining really bad energy. Bad energy. And Bill Belichick, no. Because I know he's very comfortable with North Carolina Tar Heels. Which will let me say, it was bad, Mayon and Gruden. It was really bad. Real bad. Real bad. And after that, I just wanted to talk about it. You know, I mean that before that I was getting involved with a lot of difference between for like the NFL and what happens here about it. I mean, right now they have 4 teams left. 4 teams left to go to the Super Bowl. They had the Buffalo Bills, the Washington Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles, and Kansas City Chiefs. Now check this out, folks, because maybe the championship between both conferences, it could be a trap. Because first and foremost, all the people, all the referees, including the media, they just want Kansas City Chiefs with a three-peat. They just want it because everyone just want to talking about like the Kansas City Chiefs. In ESPN, they always talking about Patrick Mahomes. In Fox Sports, they always talking about Patrick Mahomes and how invincible of the Kansas City Chiefs or they were going to the three-peat. And also there's always on NBC, CBS, ABC. I mean, oh my God. Give me a fucking break. Everybody knows that after what happens on that game, we just see like, well, cheating. because that's exactly that I just wanted to talk about, like the Kansas City Chiefs. They're like the Eddie Guerrero of football because they're always lying, cheating, and steal. Same for the Houston Astros. Same. Because imagine the difference. Kansas City Chiefs are the Houston Astros of football. And then I wanted to go to the three-peat because all the media and all those fans, they just wanted to romanticize with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not going to happen. No. But in another side, I mean, if the people, they just wanted to see like in great football, I mean, remember back in 1992, they had the Super Bowl between Buffalo Bills versus Washington Commanders, as known as the Redskins. Remember that? Super Bowl 1992? If that could really happen, that could be like a rematch. Just like, I don't know, more than 30 years ago. That should be like really expected. There should be like between rookie versus veteran. Jaden Daniels versus Josh Allen. But I would love to see like in a more of Philadelphia Eagles versus Buffalo Bills. Because I understand that Philadelphia Eagles, they just brought like getting to it to the defense. And of course, they just brought Saquon Barkley. Once he became the superstar for the New York Giants, and now he became for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. All right, Amal, Raf, much love. Much love to you, Richard Lyon. Salute to you. What a nation for life. But I really understand that, well, between for like the competition for the Super Bowl is getting a lot intense. And I understand that, well, Jaden Daniels, the rookie for the Washington Commanders, he became like the superstar. If we have like just a little bit to trade Jaden Daniels to go to the Raiders, I mean, we could happen him at the conference championship. I mean, what could happen? But it seems that, well, I know there is a light in it there, but don't worry. It's the car. Yep. I know there are lights behind me, but you know, it's really happening. It's really happening. But I really understand that there is a lot of competition coming out there on the Super Bowl. A lot of competition, but we don't want to see Kansas City Chiefs winning again because we've been seeing a lot of cheating. Because we don't want to. We don't want to. We won't. We won't. We won't. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, after I'm talking about like Ohio State versus Notre Dame, also talking about like the UFC unboxing with a special guest, and the NFL playoffs, the coaching search. So I know that Monday it became like the Martin Luther King Jr., but it's actually like the off topic. I mean, I just wanted to tell you, God bless America. And I'm not going to involve all the politics because I understand that I was born in a different country, but I can really manage the English language because I know that I have some problems in communication, but I am both because I'm really smart because I'm not that stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm smart because I'm handling like in different occasions. Okay? Because don't hate me because I know that I have a special gift to everyone to entertain, to inform, and of course to educate it. To educate it. And so, and I just wanted to tell you much love and respect. And, you know, after that, I mean, we're born the same thing. I mean, no matter what happens, united we stand, divided with fall, because I understand that what I was came here in the United States just like 7 years ago, I mean, it didn't exactly the same because it became something different. And I learned a lot of cultures of different nations. And I respect every person because I understand all the language barrier, because I know that I can call some games in Spanish. Or remember the last time that I just call it like a national championship on Spanish between Michigan versus Washington. I mean, that was truly epic. But as a matter of fact, I mean, I get much love to all those persons in America. Because we can make it great again. But I really understand that we can do it without hate, without violence, with respect, peace, love, and of course, equality and unity. And I just wanted to tell you, make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can follow me in every social media, which is Capitán Rafucho on X as known as Twitter, Instagram. Also, you can follow me on Rumble, TikTok. I'm on everywhere, like most of the social media. So I just wanted to tell you, salute to everybody else. And well, I'm still getting demonetized, but I feel like the very unluckiest guy in the room. But you know what? I mean, it takes time to make a big splash. So thank you very much, and I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to tell you. Thank you guys for joining, and of course, because I was supposed to do like a live stream with the Radar Rundown, but we're gonna make it to tomorrow. All right. So salute to everybody else, and of course, have a great night, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, see you there tomorrow at another episode of Straight Outta Nation. It's more than a radio podcast because it's a space when everyone's gonna be involved. All right. So salute to y'all, and of course, much love and respect for the Capitán Rafucho. I'm out of here.